How's it going? It's Nathan Hawken here. In over a decade of working with high-performing leaders, one of the common threads which I've noticed among those who are actively and consciously creating lasting and meaningful legacies is they've spent a lot of time and a lot of focus in mastering the art of trusting their inner guidance. It's not just about trusting your gut, it's about developing a complete relationship with your internal wisdom, which has the power to totally transform your journey and also transform your leadership approach. It's that voice inside you that's there and typically comes in a whisper. It's not a shout that gives you the insights that you need to help you take those next steps, help you get clarity around the bigger vision, help you think bigger, and help you get on track towards the things that you want to achieve and the impact that you want to make. And so the first key to this is actually recognizing that that voice is there. Because it usually operates as a whisper, it might be that very slight voice in your head that gives you an idea. We tend to dismiss it quite quickly. We have the tendency to ignore it when it comes up, or when we do listen to it, we've got the tendency to actually shut it down pretty quick. But you'll notice when you start to recognize that that voice is there, that inner wisdom, that inner guidance voice is in your head, that it won't leave you alone. It's a quiet knowing that continues to emerge over time during those moments of clarity. Recently I had a conversation with a sales director who for years had been on the tools in sales, had slowly worked his way up, but he was talking about how he was feeling kind of unfulfilled in the role that it was in, because most of his time now was in board meetings, in other meetings, it was with reports and paperwork, and he was off the tools, so to speak. Because he'd taken so many steps back from the tools, he really wasn't enjoying what he was doing anymore. Like, he loves sales, he loves getting his hands on, he loved to drive his team and motivate his team, but now that level of fulfillment was missing because he was higher up the ladder. The money was good, well, the money is good, but he's just not feeling that fulfilled in his life. And so one of the things that came up during our conversation was this slight idea that he had about working with underprivileged kids. When I heard that, immediately I knew, there's that fulfillment. There's the purpose-driven work. That's the thing that's going to really get him moving and get him driving. But the problem was, and this is where I caught him on it, before he said it, he talked himself out of it, where he's like, you know what, I got this idea, and this came up at the end of the conversation, by the way, but he's like, I've got this idea, but it's such a cliche. You know, it's such a cliche. You hear of people, once they got money, they start doing philanthropic work, and it's such a cliche, but I want to do some type of work around helping underprivileged kids. And for me, that really rained home, because it's like, there it is. There's that whisper, the idea to work with underprivileged kids, but there's a belief or there's a view of the world there that's stopping him taking that step because he saw it as a cliche. He saw it as something that all those other people are doing, and but as a result, he's not taking steps forward. And so when you begin to recognize that inner guidance voice and you start to listen to it, you will notice what keeps coming up. And so I have a question for you. What messages keep coming up in your quieter moments? When you're in a moment of peace or calm, or maybe it's during a moment of complete chaos and overwhelm, what is your voice telling you? What recurring ideas, recurring themes keep surfacing during those moments? That is your inner voice, your inner guidance system, giving you that purpose-driven work or that purpose-driven idea. When you start listening to your inner voice and recognize that it's there, you'll notice that when these ideas come, you will tend to shoot them down because of your current view of the world and your belief system that you have in place. So we need to be able to challenge your limiting beliefs and your limiting worldview. Your current beliefs, the ones that you hold on to now, your current worldview is simply the sum of all of your past experiences. They're not the future's blueprint. They're not the way to get to the next step. And so when your inner guidance system suggests a direction for you to take, brings an idea to the surface that conflicts directly with your existing worldview and beliefs, just pause for a moment before dismissing it. Pause when that idea comes to you. Pause when that voice in your head says, try this. Because I've seen so many people initially reject that transformative idea, the thing that's going to move them to a newer level of fulfillment, because it didn't fit into their current paradigm. The most successful leaders today are the ones that consistently challenge their assumptions. It's the crux of all of my coaching conversations. When I'm working with someone, I'm there to challenge their belief, to challenge their way of thinking so they can stretch that thinking and really uncover their true drive and motivation and find that thing that will bring them that new level of fulfillment. Yes, it's challenging, but that's exactly why you need to explore it. Once you've started to challenge your worldview and your current beliefs, then you need to stay in the discomfort. When your inner guidance presents you with a new direction, a new idea, just resist the urge to rush straight into action or even retreat to safety because it's so out there that it might be a little bit too confronting or too scaring. Sit in it. Marinate in it. Stay in the discomfort. One of my clients described this process of it's uncomfortable but extremely clarifying, because it was during this moment that it completely crystallized her vision to create a wellness hub community that she's been thinking about for a while, or she's been an idea for a while but never really did anything about it. This was the opportunity where she got to spend 10 minutes to sit down and really just think about it, regardless what else was coming up, regardless what her beliefs were, regardless of her worldview and what was presenting to her inside. Just by simply marinating in it, sitting in it, no matter how uncomfortable, this brings clarification to exactly what you need to do. And there's no need to take any action steps immediately. So once you've been thinking about it for a while, you've been sitting in the discomfort, then it's time to examine your why. Because the power of your inner guidance isn't just about what it's telling you to do. It's about understanding why it actually matters. So you need to ask yourself, what will this create in my world? Why does this matter to my legacy, my specific legacy? Your answers here will reveal the foundation to your specific legacy work, and they'll be your compass on your path ahead, particularly when things get challenging, so you'll always know what to do. Then once you've examined your why, you've really dug down deep and examined your why, now it's time for some action. But we don't need to do everything. In your current position, you've got plenty on your plate already. You've got plenty of responsibility, and you already might be feeling stressed and overwhelmed. This isn't about quitting everything now and starting tomorrow. This is about taking one deliberate step forward. That's all we ever need to do with anything that we're trying to create, anything we're trying to build, any goal that we have that we want to achieve. It's not about the end result and how quickly we're going to get there. It's about taking one deliberate step today. Your actions today will validate your insight. And it doesn't have to be a huge step. It just needs to be a step. A step could be having one crucial conversation, maybe reaching out to someone who is doing something similar, having a meeting. Maybe it's writing the first draft of your vision, sitting down and taking your why from your head and putting on pen and paper. Maybe it's just about making a strategic introduction to someone that you've never met, but you think can help you, or you think might give you some insight into what you're trying to achieve. And just remember, the magnitude of your legacy isn't determined by the size of your first step. It's by your commitment to the complete journey. As an example, in my own coaching business, my journey I've set for myself is for the next 20 years plus. I'm not looking to get the biggest results today, the biggest results tomorrow. I'm taking small daily steps just to make sure I get to where I want to go. And that's 20 years down the track and beyond. And so it's not about a huge first step. It's about the step that you can take today. Once you understand the relationship with your inner guidance, listen to what it's telling you. Think about your why after you've been sitting in the discomfort of the wrestling beliefs and worldview that have come up. And then, only then, do we take your first step. And so to finish up, just remember that your inner guidance isn't just a decision-making tool. This is your legacy compass. This is the thing that I work a lot on with my clients and helping them develop that relationship with their internal wisdom, because this is how transformation happens. The better relationship you can develop with yourself, the better your external results will always become. And it's what separates those who are merely wanting to succeed to those who really want to create a meaningful and lasting legacy. And so the question isn't whether you're guidance system is speaking to you. It's whether you're ready to listen and to act when it truly matters. Now, thank you for watching this video. I hope it has served you, and I'll see you on the next one.